In this video, I am going to be talking through my thought process as I am playing a ranked game of Spectre Divide so that you can see all of the things I do, all of the things that are going through my head as I'm playing this game, which ultimately is going to lead to our victory. Round 1, I have the Brat, the SMG, and I have the Shiv on my other Spectre, and my other Spectre has the Zeus as well. I like pushing into this pretty quickly, and I just like using the Hex Barrier whenever I need to. Because my teammate threw the smoke grenade there, I didn't think that I was like gonna be met with anyone, but someone was there. So that was a little bit unfortunate. I kind of hesitated there because my teammate used an ability. I didn't really want to use one at the same time. I'm trying to heal my teammate here with my Adrenalink. It's not Adrenalink, with my... I don't actually know what it's called. I'm trying to heal them with my ability. I pop a swarm down, and I can't see anything out of here, so I assume no one can see me. You can see a little bit, but it's still kind of grayed out, so I was in like a really unfortunate place there. I just wasn't within the swarm grenade properly, so someone else was probably just able to see me as I was trying to plant this use. So in the first match, I just die twice in a row really quickly. This is the last person left alive. They miss a couple of shots here, and I think we are just going to get wiped out right about now. So we lose the first round. I played very, very badly, but sometimes that happens, and I'm going to be showing all of the rounds in this video, so it's probably going to be pretty long, but I think it's important to see the good and the bad instead of just the good plays. So there, my problems were... I hesitated with my first ability, which I shouldn't have done, and I didn't stand inside the swarm grenade properly when I was trying to plant this use, which meant it was super easy for the opponent to just shoot me. Second round, we're going towards point A this time, and I quite like just rushing the spawns pretty quickly. I do have a little peek over that corner to see if anyone's there. Someone throws a smoke grenade, so I'm going to peek this quite carefully. I'm able to get a nice shot in the arm there. No one really goes by that box usually. A lot of people normally go back over there behind the gate by the point. So that's why I'm peeking this here. I normally use my barrier, but because that person was by the box, I thought maybe no one would be over there. What I like to do here is throw my Spectre through this gate. Because this game is still new, not a lot of people kind of expect this a lot of the time, so it's quite nice to catch people off guard sometimes, and I think that's not going to be an exception here. So you note also how I switched to like my close range weapon while I was going here. So I threw my Spectre in that had the close range weapon while I'm close, and when they were far away I had the burst AR, which is obviously a long range weapon, so you always got to be thinking about that stuff as well. I'm slowly peeking this corner so that they don't hear me. I peek it, they're not really expecting me to peek that, so I'm able to just get that kill. Barrier is on my right in case anyone comes from over there, and I'm just going to peek this angle because I don't think one of my teammates is peeking this angle. I hear someone shooting the barrier, I peek when I think they're going to be reloading, and then I just get a nice kill, and that's the last kill, so we win that round fairly easily. Third round, someone else has this use. No, I think I have this use this time as well. I like to have my Zeus on the other Spectre, the one I'm not currently playing as, because you don't want to die in a bad position with this use, right? So I don't want to push quite far in here and then just die, because that's not going to be good for everyone. So I always kind of keep the Spectre that has this use quite far back, and I'll just bring them in if I know it's safe, but if it's not safe, then I'm not going to push into like a bad position, because maybe I'm going to want to rotate later on, right? So I bring them a little bit closer here, so I'm just edging a tiny bit closer. Got a Spectre, I got a Hex Barrier there, and that's exactly why I saved the first few bullets. I don't think I actually hit the opponent there. I do throw a swarm grenade. Someone uses like a caustic puddle, I don't actually know what it's called, from the Morgan United sponsor, that's what it's called. And here I just decide that maybe I want to rotate to A, because right now I feel like a lot of people are at B, and two of my teammates are at A, and it doesn't really seem like anyone's there. So my plan right now is just to rotate to A. There's no need to push into B if that's where everyone is, and if A is already clear, it makes much more sense to just push back into A where two of my teammates already are, right? So that's exactly what I'm doing. Still being a little bit cautious in case someone is around one of these corners or something. I do get slow, so I temporarily whip out my weapon, but I think my teammate just didn't go through that before, so I don't think it's problematic. When I'm planting this use, I'm planting it somewhere that's pretty open, because right now there's no one around me and I'm not really scared of getting shot, so it's okay for me to do it out in the open. That means when someone's defusing it, it's going to mean they have less cover, right? So that's why I did that. That's why I did it out in the open. That's why I didn't take cover. And teammates end up finishing off that round there. They got the last few kills. This is the third round, and note how we're kind of shifting between A and B each time. That's really what you want to do. You don't want to go to A like every single time and then just have everyone, like all of the enemy's 6 Spectres, be at one of the points. That's not going to go well for you really, unless you're trying like some thing really sneaky, probably just not going to go well for you. So I end up seeing someone over there. I'm always wary of that corner because normally someone's going to be there. So I just throw my Spectre through again. I'm hoping they're not going to see it. And I've got the switch queued up, so that's exactly what I do. And now I'm just going to peek this corner very slowly while crouch walking so that nobody hears me, because it wouldn't be good if they heard me. And then I realize I actually prefer my other weapon here because its recoil pattern is much easier to control. Doesn't have much recoil at all, so I just feel more comfortable using it. Then I see a teammate has already cleared that corner, so I don't need to be worried about it. So what I do is I switch to my character that has this use. A little bit wary of that corner there in case someone's over there, but I don't think anyone is because I can see the Spectre line from someone, so that's obviously been cleared already. And then once I've planted the Zeus, I switch back to the gun that I'm more comfortable with and get my other Spectre into a, a more comfortable position. And then I'm going to kind of use the same trick here. I'm going to pop my Hex Barrier down a little bit further in front so I can take cover from both sides if I need to, which I didn't do before. So if someone shoots me from the right, like this, I'm going to be able to, well, almost get the kill, but my teammate got the kill. But that was like exactly the same as the last match, right? So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that is like a pretty solid place to put the Hex Barrier. Even if I don't react in time, maybe a teammate is going to have an extra second or two to finish off the opponent if I die to that. But, like, them shooting the Hex Barrier is just going to take them a little bit longer to finish me off, and I'm going to have time to react to it. At least most of the time, I will anyway. Round 5, and we are going back to B once again. I always kind of peek... On this weapon in particular, I always kind of peek the spawns pretty quickly. I see someone throwing their pinging thing. I know it's a pinging thing because I know what classes they're playing at this point, and they like to throw that near the spawn, so I quickly destroy that because I don't want them to know exactly where I am. That was just kind of a lucky evade. I had no idea that person was there, but I ended up dodging their first few bullets. I place a Hex Barrier in case they decide to peek, but they just throw another smoke grenade. And at that point, I'm not too sure if I want to switch to A or to B, but I decide I'm going to try and take a little bit of a sneaky angle here and try and stay at this objective and wait for the smoke shift to go. Because at the other point, I think the enemies kind of know my teammates are there already, which means if everyone goes to A, I can actually just keep going to B, and maybe no one's going to be expecting it. But I don't think that's actually going to happen. So I end up getting a kill there, but I am pretty low. Teammate gets low. I was going to heal them, but they end up dying. I am the last alive on my team. And here I decide, you know what? I actually do want to go back to B because, back to A rather, because I don't know who's at B. I did use my healing ability there. It's not an ideal time to use it. Generally, when you're using that ability, you want to use it when both of your Spectres are low, because it heals both of them at the same time. So that would be the ideal time to use it. But I do also want to have full HP here. And while I'm walking towards this area, I do want to continuously bring my Spectres with me. I get slowed, this person kills me, and I'm going to try and rotate back to B. So I thought I would have enough time. 30 seconds is like, I think, enough time to rotate back to B. If that person wasn't in the mid area there, I think I would have been able to get to it. But what ends up happening is that person sees me, and then I think they're going to message their buddies or like call out to their teammates that I'm going to go towards B. And I think someone around one of these corners is just waiting for me to approach. So I tried rotating there because I didn't think it would be the best decision to just try and take everyone on at the objective. And that just doesn't end up working out. So sometimes your plays just aren't going to work. That's exactly what happened there. So the opponents won that one. Back to objective A. And by the way, if I haven't mentioned it already, always hold out your knife whenever you want to move quickly, because it does impact your movement speed. So just in case you didn't know that, always hold out your knife at like the start of the match so you can just like get to where you need to be a little bit faster. Because when you're attacking, every second counts, you want to be moving quickly when you can be moving quickly. So always hold out your knife whenever there's no danger of anyone being like immediately nearby. So once again, I throw my Spectre through the gate and peeking this corner very slowly, and there is a person right here. Generally there's someone like to the right here or to the left, but in that instance they were just kind of peeking that already. I see a couple teammates. I'm still not sure about someone being to the right or not, but I think I'd just kind of go with it. I start planting this use and then I switch. So if you start planting this use, or if you're reloading, or if you're doing like pretty much any action with your Spectre, and then you switch Spectre while holding down the button, the Spectre finishes off whatever it is you were doing. So you can start planting this use and then switch. You can also reload and then switch, and the Spectre will finish the action. So that's what I did there. I wasn't 100% sure if there was going to be someone or not. There ended up not being one. Actually, the teammates took them out. But I switched there just in case, so I could like cover myself, basically. This is round 7. A different teammate has the use this time. I think I was normally taking it, but someone else took it this time, which is fine. I placed the Hex Barrier, gonna peek this corner. The Hex Barrier can help to just kind of confuse the enemies a little bit. Sometimes they'll shoot the Hex Barrier, sometimes they'll like look behind the Hex Barrier, so I kind of like to place it as a bit of a distraction sometimes. So someone was behind that box, and I try and quickly peek it. That doesn't really end up working, and now I'm not too sure how much I want to be at this objective. I'm just looking to see what my teammates are doing. Always pay attention to what your teammates are doing. Someone peeks it, they end up dying, so I know someone is still to the left, but they also know that I'm here because they just pinged me a second ago with their like sonar ping or whatever it's called. Like the recon class, or one of the recon classes anyway. So I'm peeking this just to see if there's anyone there. I don't think anyone is there, so now I'm gonna try and run back to where my other teammates are, because you might as well stick with your team, right? So it seems like they're trying to push B. I'm not actually too sure. They're pushing the objective from a different way anyway, and so I just try and push with them. I heard someone shooting. I'm not too sure where they are, and I just check on my teammate to see where they're looking, and then someone magically appears here, and I just end up taking them out. I am going to heal myself because I want to be full health for this. This is like a 2v4, right? You want to have full health as quickly as much as possible. We see the Spectre line here, and we both peek the same angle at the same time, and that person ends up killing both of us. At least I think they do. No, it was actually 2 different people that killed us there, so that was just poor timing. And we both looked to the right for the Spectre. If I saw the teammate looking right, I probably should have looked a different way. I probably should have trusted them, because that way we can hold multiple angles at once. So I did the wrong thing there. Instead of looking the same way as my teammate and kind of rushing that just because we saw the Spectre line, I probably should have looked a different way and tried to cover my teammate while they were covering me. That would have made much more sense. This is round 8, which means the side switch happened, and we are therefore now defending. Someone throws the ping grenade, but it doesn't actually hit me this time, so I'm able to get a nice kill right at the start. I pop the Hex Barrier down. I'm gonna try and take this person out too. That works, and then someone else gets me. But I took 2 people out there, which is pretty good. I quickly peek that angle to see if anyone else is coming this way, because sometimes people like to pretend they're going to B, and they actually come to A. So I did a quick little peek there to see if there is anything tricksy going on, but it doesn't seem like there was. There's someone up here. I try and take a few shots of them. Shots at them rather, and then I just decide I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to try and get back to wherever this use was just dropped, because it was dropped. I think one of my teammates might have picked it up. I have a little look for it here. That's what I'm doing. I don't actually know where it is, so I just decide I'm going to go back to where my teammates are, because I assume that someone has it, even though it normally says it on the right hand side, but it doesn't matter because my teammates just get that kill. So in some matches, you know, you don't really do a whole lot, and that was just one of them. My teammates just did most of the stuff in that round. I did get a couple of kills at the start, though, which does help, too. Sometimes it's good to push the spawn, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it doesn't pay off, sometimes it does, and in that instance, it did. This is round 9. I have the Buzzsaw SMG, and I believe it's called the Trident Burst AR. Someone throws the ping thing as well, again. They know I'm here, so I decide I'm just quickly gonna peek that, because I know they're probably there. They're probably going to be looking to peek for me, so I figure I might as well do the same, but I do a quick peek, which is probably going to throw their aim off a little bit. Now I do end up getting 3 kills here, and I do have my heal as well. What I should have done here, I try throwing my swarm grenade to do a little bit of damage. I assume that they're not going to go through this. They throw a cluster grenade to try and get me on the other side, and with the cluster grenade kind of like smoke effect that it creates, they kind of went through that. They took that opportunity to take me by surprise, and I think they tanked the swarm grenade as well. So that was a nice play by them. Wasn't expecting the cluster grenade throw, but I was able to take out a good few of them during the starting round. That also let my teammates know that they were all at that point, and then they were able to just clean up that fight. So that went pretty well. I probably also should have brought my other Spectre to where that fight was instead of just leaving it at the other point, because I think it was quite clear that they were all in that area. Probably should have also waited for my teammates to come there, but it did end up all kind of working out. But there are still things I could have done to improve that. Even though I think I did kind of well there, I still could have done better. I still could have done other things to improve, you know? This is the 10th round, and I'm going to push this spawn again, but this time I'm going to push it to the right-hand side because I've pushed it to the left-hand side every other time. So if someone peeks around this corner, I don't think they're going to be expecting me to be here. People don't really look around this corner that much. So that's why I'm doing this. You don't want to keep peeking like the exact same angle every single time, because the opponents will get used to it, and then they're probably gonna, you know, they're probably gonna just shoot you, and that's gonna be a very, very early death, which you do not want. You want to stay alive as long as possible when you're defending, or at least make sure you take out multiple opponents. And here, I switch Spectre because I got the Spectre warning, and I just get taken out because someone is close, so they did the thing where they throw the Spectre through the gate, and I just wasn't really expecting that. I had my Burst AR on that side because I was expecting to get some long-range combat in, because it's the Burst AR, and that just didn't happen because we got taken out early. So teammate destroys the, I don't know what it's called, but it's the bot that slows you down, so we're not slowed down anymore because the teammate destroyed it. I try placing this hex barrier, and I just have absolutely awful aim here. Aiming is pretty hard, and I'm not the best at it, so I just get taken out there. And it's up to my teammate here, that last one. This is a 2v4. They do quite well. It's a little bit unfortunate they just missed all of those shots because those people were lined up nicely, but they tried, and we ended up getting taken out. So what I did wrong there was I should have played a little bit more cautiously when I heard the Spectre sound, because I knew that someone was close, but I just kind of assumed they were going to be behind the gate, which is the wrong thing to assume. You got to play carefully when you get the Spectre sound, because when you switch and everything, like the whole screen changes and you're in a completely different location, you don't really know what's going on around you, so I definitely should have played much more carefully. Maybe I even should have like popped an ability, just in case someone was in front of me. It might have been a waste, but it might have also paid off, so sometimes you gotta take that gamble as well. 11th round, I'm actually going to push this spawn a little bit because no one has done that in this entire game so far. So, like, no one in this entire game has taken this position at this point, and so I just thought I might as well do that. You always want to take your enemies by surprise because that's probably going to lead to a few free kills, you know? If someone peeks, I take them out, and then 2 more peek, which I wasn't really expecting. I wasn't expecting them to peek that wide, and I don't think I heard the audio for it because I was shooting. So, you know, I played that a little bit poorly, but I do also get a trade kill, so at least I killed someone and they killed me, so it's still even. Now, someone drops his use. Whenever someone drops his use on the enemy team, you want to just guard that, because if you guard it, then they're not going to win, right? And if they pick it up and take it somewhere else, you want to know where they're taking it. So I'm kind of trying to figure out where they take it. It's always good to ping it if you know where it is, but I'm not the one that killed the enemy, so I don't know where it is right now. Teammates seem to be all kind of peeking around that angle though, so I assume that that is where this use is going to be. One teammate gets taken out, the other one gets taken out, and I see my third teammate here is going to try and peek this, and I'm still just kind of holding this position because I don't fully know where this use is. I'm thinking it might be like exactly where I'm looking, but I don't think that's actually where it's going to end up being. So here, we have 40 seconds left. Teammate is kind of holding that point right there, holding that angle, and I don't think that they're going to go to A, so I start rotating to B because I think they might have got this use, and now they're going to try and plant it at B. So I start going to B, and I'm going to start crouching because I don't want to get hurt here. If I get hurt and the enemy takes me out because they hear me because of the audio, then it's just a 1v1, and obviously a 2v1 is going to be much, much easier to win and just much better than a 1v1. So if you can help it, you don't really want to go for the 1v1 here. You kind of want to wait for your teammate. So, but you also need to like be ready to, you know, stop the objective if your teammate dies. So I have a couple of little looks at my teammate to see what they're doing, and I'm very just kind of slowly trying to peek this angle, and then I end up just eliminating the opponent. My teammate wasn't far behind. If I got killed there, they would have known where the opponent was, and they probably would have been able to have done something about it. So always play cautiously when it's like 2v1 or something like that, because if you get taken out, it's a 1v1, and then, you know, that's obviously not that good. So if you're alive and the teammate is alive, you gotta play together, because sometimes someone else can just win, and that is obviously not ideal. This is round 12. If we win, we win. I'm gonna take up this point, but I'm gonna not be behind the box this time. I'm gonna be actually peeking this angle, because I don't think the enemies will be expecting it. Again, you always kind of want to change up where you go slightly every time. I quite like this gun. This is one of the LMGs. It's like the tier 4 LMG paired with the Blackout. No, it's not the Blackout. I think it's the Crusader that it's paired with. But I quite like it a lot. It's got a really, really, really high fire rate, which is good. I end up killing that person. I obviously knew they were there because they just shot my teammate, so I was just holding the angle and I was able to take them out. They get flashed. I don't really like that. This use is on the floor here. I think I heard it got dropped there earlier on, so I try and throw in this swarm grenade so that the opponent can't take it. I don't really want them to pick this up. I just want to hold this angle. What I should have done, what I absolutely 100,000,000% should have done there, is thrown my Spectre down. If this use ever drops down, and, you know, your other Spectre is on the other side of the map, there's really not much point in doing that. You gotta throw both of the Spectres in the same, you know, area there, because you don't want the opponent to get to the Zeus and then they start rotating and you don't know where they're going to be and all of that kind of stuff. In that position, you just want to prevent them from getting the Zeus. So I should have used like my other swarm ability, and I should have brought my Spectre there, which is not what I did. So that was not a very good play by me. I'm kind of slowly trying to peek this angle. I'm looking my left and right just to see if there's like someone's Spectre there. You always want to be on the lookout for stray Spectres. And I'm just very, very slowly kind of crouch walking towards this objective. It's a 1v3. There is a blackout on the floor here, which I see. And I would have liked to have picked that up because I'm very familiar with the blackout's recoil pattern. But someone just kind of peeks me while I'm looking at the gun. They peek the angle while I'm looking at the gun and they just take me out. So, you know, there's a lot of unfortunate timing in this game. You know, like when you look to the right, that's when the person from the left comes. There's a lot of that. And unless you have really, 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 really good aim, it's just kind of hard to do anything about that. But my aim also did suck there. So sometimes good aim is gonna be important in this kind of a game, and I didn't have good aim there, so that was my bad. But at the start, I definitely should have brought my Spectre. Round 13, I've gone back to the other side of the map. I'm gonna try peeking this area again, because I'm thinking that maybe the enemies might come from this way instead. It's always kind of a gamble where they're gonna come from, and which Spectre you're gonna give kind of the close range weapon, which Spectre you're gonna give the long range weapon, and all that kind of stuff. This time I gamble on this area, but you should always keep one Spectre on either point, I think. When you're defending, keeping one Spectre on either point, I feel like is going to be beneficial for the most part, instead of having two Spectres in one point. I don't think there's going to be much point in that, unless somehow you know exactly where the opponents are going to come from. And you can always bring a Spectre to the point where everyone's coming from afterwards if you need to. So I try peeking up that box there. And again, I should have brought my Spectre. I kind of knew everyone was going to be there. It's okay in that situation to leave your Spectre where it is, because maybe someone's going to try to rotate, but it also makes sense to bring your Spectre there. So that's something I definitely could have done, and maybe I should have just waited for my teammates there instead of trying to peek that on my own. It wasn't really a favorable position. I had to mantle the thing and then also peek where the enemies were before they shot me, and I would have to shoot them as well. So I'd have to like mantle, see where they were, and then shoot. Whereas the enemies just kind of had to shoot me because they were peeking it already. So that, you know, there's like a good time and bad time to peek things, and that was not a good time to peek something. But my teammates end up just killing the rest of the opponents. And so we end up winning 8-5. And I think the KD wasn't so bad either. You're probably going to see it in a second. But yeah, that was like a pretty solid match. I made lots of mistakes, but I also had a couple of nice plays. And I think generally that's gonna happen. Like in some games you'll suck, and in some games you'll just play really, really well. But I think for the most part, in your average games, you're gonna have rounds where you play well and rounds where you don't. And you'll see here the KDs for everyone was like pretty similar, at least on our team. I think I was 4 kills behind my teammates. Maybe I think I was 4 and 6 behind my teammates, but I think I also died slightly less. So yeah, KD does matter. KD is like a good indication of how good someone is, but playing the objective is very important as well. So just that's like a final tip there. Don't focus on KD. Don't focus on like playing this game like a team deathmatch. That's probably not going to work out very well for you. Getting kills is good, helps your team for sure, but playing the objective is better. I don't think it happened there, but a lot of the time in games, you can just, when you're defending, you can just let the timer run out because no one plants his use in time. I don't think it happened in that match, but that does happen a lot. And obviously that can only happen if you don't, you know, push spawns and don't die. I did push spawns a lot in that game, but in that game in particular, on that map, I was fairly confident pushing some of those spawns, especially because I kind of learned the habits of where the opponents kind of looked when they came out from the spawns, which is definitely something you should be paying attention to as well. And it kind of changes in each game depending on who your opponents are, at least right now, because the game is still very new. I'm sure it might change when people get more familiar. But yeah, there you go. I am also in gold 1. Don't know if it's gold. I'm in the lowest gold right now. I got placed in silver for my placement matches, and now I'm in gold, so that's like the elo range for this game as well. But obviously I'm going to try and climb up. So yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.